y'all, it's Laura and I am starting my December daily album with this opening page using an acetate from Felicity Jane. This is from their older kit. I think it's called Oh Dear or something like that. It was in their Black Friday sale and I love these acetate dividers. I just think they're a fun way to mix up the album and add another texture in that isn't paper. And I just think that's really cool. So this one has a white wreath around the center. It's kind of hard to see, but you will see it as I pick it up and move it around. And I'm adding a gold foil doily in the center, as well as this little floral mandala style piece from the Pink Fresh line that I have as mixed in with my Felicity Jane kit. If you want to see more of that, I will link the unboxing of my kit below so you can check out, see all the things that I've got and what I'm kind of mixing together for this album. I am using the huge December word from Felicity Jane, and I think that's just a perfect way to use that as on a title piece. So I am adding another gold doily to the back of this acetate because I don't love the look of the back of things. I don't want to leave it unfinished. It's not like a 12 by 12 layout where I'm just going to put it in an album and there'll be another layout behind it. I have to create the part behind it. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just doing a very, very simple piece behind it just so you don't see the back of the front. So I have another gold doily. I'm going to pull out a couple of things from this little container that has all of my ephemera and a few bits and pieces in it from my kit, and will make it easy for me to kind of sift through and find out what I want to play with. I do end up going with this really cute bow. I think it's just a nice, just simple piece that you flip through the page, oh, that's cute, and off you go. It's not intended to be a statement piece. It's not intended to say anything or represent anything. I'm just covering up behind the front, if that makes sense. I did discover something, though, when I got out my glossy accents to use. Apparently, the bottle's broken, and the little needle point is stuck into the top of the top. Wow, words are not working for me today, but yeah, they're completely stuck into the top, so I can't get them out, and my bottle's just broken, so that's lovely. We'll have to make do with that for now. Another thing I discovered when I went to put this acetate piece in my album was that it only has 3 holes, and apparently that was the old style of Felicity Jane albums, and this new style has 6 holes. So I'm going to have to punch some extra holes. And I was a little worried that with punching with my crop dial through acetate, I know it looks a little messy. So I figured if I covered it up with this beautiful floral washi tape, that would make it look a little neater, a little cleaner, and it does. It looks a lot better. So it came in with my crocodile and a page protector that I have already in the album to line it up and create these holes. One thing though that I did find is that my crocodile sometimes gets gummed up with the washies. This time it didn't, but another time it did. So just be aware of that, that sometimes the acetate will gum up the crocodile and you just have to pop it out of the hole for you. Now, throwing all those little bits and pieces away, this part, the opening page, is done. And this piece, I think, is a really nice way to open up your album. It gives you a peek at what's coming up, which makes you want to turn the page, in my opinion. At least I hope so. I also decided to add this really fun vellum pocket and a tag that has my, I guess it's called a couple different things. In December Daily, they call it a reason why. And in Journal Your Christmas with Shamel, they call it a manifesto. But essentially, it's your purpose. It's your reason for creating this album, and maybe even a little bit of a challenge to yourself in creating this album. So for me, the reason that I'm creating this year, it's different for me every year, but the reason I'm creating it this year is because my kids are in a lot of activities throughout the month. And I always take a ton of pictures. And then when I sit down to add them to this little 6x8 album, there's way too many pictures. And there's no way that I can sort out down to 2 or 3 photos per day. I can't do it. So I'm challenging myself to take less pictures this month. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I want to be more present in the moment, to be cheering them on, to be enjoying the music, to really experience those activities with my kids and not be so worried about getting the perfect picture. I can tell a story, I can share an experience without a picture. Pictures are great, don't get me wrong, but I don't need a picture to tell my story. And so I am trying to challenge myself a little bit to tell my stories with fewer pictures. Last year, my album was massive because I could not narrow down to just one picture. I couldn't narrow down to just 2 pictures. I had to put in like 10. It was insane. So this year, I'm trying to narrow it down. I won't be able to narrow it down for every event. For example, we had a parade on day 2. And it's a parade. I mean, I feel like you can't narrow that down to one photo. So that one I think had a few more. But for most days, I'm going to try to narrow it down to 1 or 2 photos that really represent the story and leave enough space to actually tell the story and not just rely on the photos to do the talking for me. Another thing that I am doing in this album is I am typing my journaling. Say what? Yes, I know. I never type my journaling, ever. But I have this idea that I'm going to be doing a lot of journaling, storytelling, and I need the space. And I don't write small. So I knew I was going to have to do some typewritten journaling. So what I've decided to do here is this tag that I'm tucking into the vellum pocket is going to have my reason why / manifesto typed on it. And how I'm doing that is kind of fun. I'm typing it up in the Project Life app using their digital pocket cards, which is something new to me. It's not something that I've used before. And printing it out on my Canon selfie. It's very, very easy to do. Let me know if you would like me to do a quick tutorial for you guys, but I do know there are tutorials out there on YouTube. So if you haven't seen one of those, maybe check those first. But if you'd like to see what I'm doing specifically, then I can sure show you how to do that. It's really, really easy. And you can buy one of the Christmas digital kits from Project Life for 99 cents and then print out as many as you want. So I think that's a great deal. It's a great way to do December daily on a budget for sure. So I'm adding some washi tape underneath of this little holly girl on the card. I thought this would be a great way to go ahead and use this pocket card because I have a hard time using the girls on my pages. I'm not sure why, but I just do. It's kind of strange to me to put people other than photos on my layouts and on my albums. Here is my journaling. You can see that I've typed up a whole lot to say there on this little 3x4 card. I'm going to back it onto this beautiful gold vellum that also came from Felicity Jane. I added it onto my kit from their Black Friday sale. And I think it just gives it just a little extra something, a little extra bling, you know, a little layering. Love that. And looks really good on that pink. Being careful to add tape only where the photo is so that it doesn't show through the vellum. And then that's going to get added onto my tag. Now I'm not going to embellish this tag heavily because it has to fit in this vellum pocket. And this vellum pocket is very narrow. So there's not a lot of room for extra bits and pieces in there. As a matter of fact, the only embellishing I do on this specific piece is one of these little enamel circles is going to go on the outside of the pocket. And then one small die cut will go on the tag. And that's it. That's it. I know that's pretty minimal for me, but I know that at the beginning of working in a different size, especially in a smaller size, I have a tendency to go not really minimal, but more minimal than I'm used to, very simple, because I'm not used to this size. This is a much smaller size than I'm used to, and you don't have as much space to play with, and the die cuts are the same size they were for a 12x12 layout. So that's all the embellishing I do there. And now for a little sneaky peeky at something fun I'm adding to this project. So in addition to my Scrappy kit, which I unboxed for y'all earlier, I am also going to be playing with this little advent calendar that Christina at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club made for me. And I'm going to open up one little package from here every day that I am scrapbooking, and I'm going to attempt to add something from that package to whatever I'm working on for that day. So this is the package. It also came with this really cool little ring that has some little tags that you could write in your own little prompts if you're trying to come up with ideas for what to add to your December daily. So I thought that was really cute. There was this really cute little pine cone that I thought was really adorable. Has my name on this little chipboard piece here, and a really cool little metal clip. So that is a part of my kit as well. I've also picked up some bits and pieces from Black Friday sales, and we'll try to include some of those things as well as reaching into my stash. Look at all this gorgeous black and white twine. So let's see what's inside, shall we? How much fun is that? Look at all of the little bags. It's so exciting. All right, I'm going to pull everything out so you don't have to listen to more wrapping tissue-y stuff, and put out the envelopes on my desk. Okay, so I found a little basket to put them in, and some of the things are a little bit more hidden than others, and I think that's fine. So I'm excited to see what's in bag number 1. So let's go ahead and open up bag number 1 before we get started on our day 1. Wow. Okay, so lots of little goodies in here. We've got a little tree. It's kind of white and sparkly. We've got a red felt one. Love that. We've got a couple of glassine bags. We've got our prompt for day 1, which says to tell the story of your favorite part of the holiday season. Think about your favorite sounds, sights, smells, or feelings associated with the holidays. And then 2 tags. And of course we have that twine from the wrapping on the package. So I am very excited to get started, and I'm going to see if I can incorporate one or two, some of these things, into my project for today. Let's get started. Okay, so let's get started on day 1. This is a fairly simple opening page. I didn't have a huge story for this day, and I don't necessarily feel like there has to be a huge story for each day, or that it has to happen on that day. So for example, we had put up our Christmas tree pretty shortly after Thanksgiving, which was about a week and a half ago, and we didn't decorate it. We still haven't decorated it at this point, actually. And I noticed there was one lone ornament just sitting there at the bottom of the tree that had somehow gotten forgotten and missed last year. And so I wrote a little poem, and it doesn't rhyme. It is just a little poem that I wrote about this ornament and about my feelings at Christmas time. So I'm going to read it to you. It's called Beginning Anew, and it says, "A single ornament still hangs on the tree, left over from last year, forgotten and alone. Once an important piece, no longer needed. Yet as another season appears, it carries on and begins anew." And I feel that way about the Christmas season myself. My dad passed away on December 1st, so that is always a really difficult day for me. But once we get through that day, the season feels brand new to me, and my Christmas spirit returns rather quickly. And I always feel like that every single year, so I thought it was perfect for December 1st to incorporate that idea. So now for this page, I've printed out my journaling onto a project life card, keeping in mind that I was going to add this little red felt tree. It is so cute, but boy is it bulky, so keep that in mind if you are trying to do this type of embellishing. I also added a little gold acrylic piece from Color Cast Designs on the top of that tree, a little star up there, and I'm going to add this gold foil 1 as well. And I was checking to see if it was adhesive, because some of these things show up and they are adhesive, but this one is not, and I added some glossy accents to make sure it wouldn't go anywhere. I've also added 3 small ephemera pieces into a cluster at the bottom right, and that's it. This first page is done. Super simple, super quick. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and until next time, bye!